Hello, I'm HJG White from eToro. Welcome to the video. Let's get into this. Okay. This is not financial advice. This is just a trade that I've made and why I like it. Welcome to this week's episode of Money Talks, where I'm going to be talking about my Cineworld trade. This video will be broken into 3 parts. What I like about the business as a whole, why I'm holding and not buying, what I expect to see in the future. First off, what I like about the business. The 2 things I like about the business is its financial growth and its customer service. In a previous video, I've already gone into detail about the intrinsic value of Cineworld, and I've also done a post on eToro that I'll link in the description. I feel as though I've gone enough into the financial breakdown. This video is going to be more about fundamentals. I think what's more important now, with relation to its debt and its earnings, is understanding whether cinema popularity will go back to where it was in 2018, and understanding that sentiment and understanding what it means for Cineworld to be popular again, what their products are, and why people will be buying them. The main financials that I care about is the fact that Cineworlds have managed to grow revenues consistently over the course of 10 years and have introduced themselves into more regions over that time and more cinemas in each region. That is the core fundamental growth, that capacity to enter new regions and being successful at it, which is the main exciting thing about Cineworld from a financial point of view. So, since I was a kid, I have loved going to the cinema. And even when I was a kid, I remember sentiment as I was growing up that people consistently thought cinema was going to be made obsolete by growing innovations in home cinema. While the videos and DVDs were proving, you had TVs getting better and better and better, and literally called home cinema systems, where people had better speakers, larger monitors, higher pixel content, and yet all through this cinema, if you go to look at their financial statements on quickfs.net, you can see that Cineworld have continued to grow in the last 10 years, even though Netflix makes it easier than ever to watch whatever you want, really within reason, whenever you want. It's clear that people still really want to go see the films in the cinema. I think there's many reasons for this, perhaps an over-attachment to devices, and cinema offers something where devices are turned off and put away for 2 hours, up to around 2 hours. I think that is perhaps one of the most unsung benefits of going to see a film with your friends, where there's no distraction, that you're all going to be having a shared experience. So, another reason I really like the Cineworld business is their 3 core products. So the first product Cineworld offer is the Unlimited card. It does what it says on the tin. It lets you see unlimited films in the cinema. My little brother has this card and a few members of my family have it, and it means that Cineworld have a baseline continuous revenue to help handle interest payments. Perhaps maybe the biggest blockbusters haven't come out that month. It means that their income is far more steady than you might imagine a cinema's income to be. That gives them an enormous competitive advantage against other cinemas, and perhaps why they've managed to grow into other regions faster. The second product they offer is cinema tickets. Quite obviously, they can charge great amounts to see films on opening nights, and films, the bigger the blockbuster, the better the year they have. I mean, all of this is fairly obvious, but we've just had Spider-Man come out. Cinema tickets is an enormous part of Cineworld's revenue, and this year I'm expecting to see amazing sales with Spider-Man. Finally, food and drinks. That's just an enormous money driver for Cineworld. Think a Coke, I heard, costs less than a penny to make. All the resources that go into the Coke, the cup, the syrup, everything, it's less than a penny per litre. And popcorn is about the same, maybe a penny to 5p. So they make enormous margins, and that's the consistent thing with all 3 of these products. There's almost no resources that Cineworld are consuming, only an energy bill. So I don't think Cineworld's only expense is rent and energy, and they don't have a lot of expenses there to begin with. So when it comes to paying off their debt, which they have a lot of, they are they're an entirely cash business. So more so than companies like airlines with high debt levels at the minute, I think Cineworld are in a very good position with these free products to instantly pay off their interest payments the second they have cash flowing in. Okay, moving on to the next question. Why I am holding and not buying. So this one's quite simple. There's one pro and one con to this. So I have already bought quite a lot. I did it using dollar cost averaging. So I bought little amounts quite often. The pro is I'm holding because I see enormous financial growth in its future. The con is its debt level, but the debt level isn't necessarily what concerns me. It's the fact that there's rumours, mainly from everyone but Cineworld. I haven't heard rumours direct from Cineworld for this, but it seems reasonable that they might issue more shares. I think that is extremely unlikely. I think actually that'd be quite weird for them to do. I think the most likely thing for them to do right now is, I believe Mookie is likely to desire owning more of his company, and he possibly has loads of personal wealth considering the fact that he owns large amounts of Cineworld still, and he has been issuing dividends throughout the entirety of its very lucrative career. So he's got a lot of money, and I think he'd want to own more of Cineworld, and also Cineworld would want to own more of Cineworld. So I don't see them issuing more shares. I don't think their financial situation is dire enough. But that's the pro and the con. The pro is enormous. The price is really low relative to its 2018 earnings, and the con is that there's really no telling what they're going to do when they start earning money again with regards to issuing shares, or where their debt level interest payments are currently. Those are the two big question marks, and that's why I'm just holding right now, waiting to see the next financial statements basically, and then I might even put some more in. This leads me nicely into part 3, what I expect to see in the future. In the future, I expect to see a return to cinema from the public, from the eyes of the public, but also I expect Disney, their streaming service, the adoption of it to slow down. And I don't think that skipping the cinema will do anything to serve Disney. So I think I will expect to see far more films go through the cinema and perhaps spend longer time there. That's very speculative. The one thing I know for sure is that the cinema will continue to be a better experience than what the majority of people can expect to have at home. So I expect to see a return to share price growth when everyone gets to see on their financial statements that their debt is going down. They're not just paying off interest payments, but paying off the underlying loan. When people see that that is going down, that will change a lot of projections for a lot of the big movers. And then also I expect them to see free cash flow growing and revenue growing. So when that happens this year in the next 2 quarters, I think that's when you're going to see the fastest move in the share price. And then after that, I expect the share price to be quite steady. Okay, I think that's it. Yeah, cheers guys.